FantomWorks.
Hey Audrey, it's Otis. Got a little bit of money saved up. I'd like for him to do a little bit more work on it. Can I bring the car in sometime?
Yeah, when were you thinking?
Could I drop it off this afternoon? Does that work for you guys?
Yeah, that'd be fine. We'll see you then.
Great, see you in about an hour.
Bye. So Otis was a previous customer and called and wanted to get some more work done on his 65 Corvette, so he called to have it brought in, and now it's here, so let's check it out.
I am not sure this is what anybody expected.
Yeah, doesn't really look like something FantomWorks ever messed with.
This Corvette was here probably about 10 years ago at this point, so it's been a while since we've done anything to it.
I see ants literally crawling out the side of it.
I am not getting in this car. He's clearly just left it outside.
Top's all ripped up too. The interior's moldy.
This is gonna be a lot. This is gross.
It's literally just sat outside for about as long as it's been gone, it looks like. So I'm gonna let Dan handle this one.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, do you have any idea what Otis was sending us?
65 Corvette?
Parts of it under a lot of dirt. The car's been outside.
It hasn't been well stored?
Not at all.
Okay. Look, I'll take a look at it when I got a few minutes and I'll give him a call.
Okay.
Thank you.
This 65 Corvette, I remember working on it years ago, and it left out of here looking good and it came back looking bad. So on one hand, I'm in shock. On the other, how do you not love a C2 Corvette? What's the story of this car? Because we worked on it 10 years ago, and I want to help you out with it again, but it's kind of rough now. So where did it start, and what got you here?
Well, one of my flight instructors in Pensacola owned the car, and I always thought the mid-year Corvettes were the most beautiful cars ever made.
I agree.
Yeah. So one day I saw a for sale sign on it. I drove it around that afternoon. Strangely enough, on the way back home, I got totaled, and I saw it as a sign. I knew I had to have that car. The car I was driving was totaled on the way back home.
All right, not the Corvette. All right, outstanding. I'm glad you totaled a different car.
So the next day I called him and said, I'm taking the insurance money and I'd like to buy your car back. This is when I was in the Navy, and there you go. It's the first year I had it, back in early 86, I think.
So.
And I had a lot more hair then.
Didn't we all? Yeah, didn't we all?
I want to make it safe again. I've got a limited budget. I'm not interested in the most cosmetically pure car in the world or an exact, the most beautiful car in the world. I just want to be able to drive around safely on a nice Sunday afternoon.
What happened? Well,
Ex-wife sat in the rain for a while, didn't have the money.
Okay. You know, little rough, not what I was expecting, right?
It was in decent shape. You guys did some great engine work, and I really appreciated it. I put a little bit of money together. I'd like to see what you can do with that money, and maybe you can fix it up the way it used to be.
Okay. So here's the dynamics. 10 years have passed, and there were 10 tough years, right? And in that time, sort of Mother Nature has had a bigger control in that car than you. So as I see it, you need a fair amount of brake work, a fair amount of suspension work, a lot of wiring work, and unfortunately, just about all the fuel system work. What kind of budget do you have to attack that many systems?
I've got about 15 grand saved up. Will that work?
As a deposit or a?
Oh, that's all I got. It's been a rough year.
All right, so let me just share with you what 15 grand would do to those 4 systems, and we'll do some fairly simple math, right? 15 divided by 4, so that gives me, what is it, $37.50 per item?
Sure.
That would about cover the cost of parts for each one of those systems and leave basically nothing for labor. Is that it? Your 15, is that kind of top of the mark?
It really is 15.
Okay, so here's where I see it. 15 gives you, if this were a spades game, it'd give you 1 and a maybe. And so if it's a 1 and a maybe, and the one that you have to have is your entire fuel system, it's gone.
Wow.
Okay, so if we take the one as the fuel system, which one do we put the maybe in? Is it the electrical that's all corroded? Is it the brake system that now needs a lot of work? Or is it the suspension system where you've got rusting steel and corroded rubber? Which one of those is the maybe? You see my point, right?
I understand the costs. This thing's been sitting in the rain for so long, everything's rusted together. I've got some electrical issues that are going to require a new wiring harness. It's just all too much for me. And I know you don't want to put an unsafe car back on the street.
That's just it. So do I do half of a brake job and none of the suspension and none of the wiring? I'm not going to sleep tonight. So what would you do if you could only do one and a maybe?
Maybe it's time to sell the car.
I think
I still don't have a garage. I'm not going to be able to keep it nice once you fix it up.
so. The same thing's going to happen to it again.
Right.
Just don't waste your time, because the one and the maybe leaves you unsafe, leaves me not sleeping, and leaves a car not done. And then if you're going to put it back in the rain, that one and the maybe gets undone in no time at all.
I think it's time to sell.
If you sell it, what do you want for it?
Well, back in 1985, I paid $11,250 for it. If I can get $11,250 for it again, I'm good with that.
Okay, that's interesting. All right, so let me tell you the good side of that. If you could have a car for 40 years, drive it, enjoy it, and sell it for what you paid for it, that's kind of a win. Very few people get to do that,
True.
right?
Right.
And if we could get a car for that kind of money, because although the bones are in good shape, the meat on it is kind of rotting, if you accept that metaphor. So with the bones in good shape, because quite honestly, you could easily throw six figures at that car. Okay?
I've seen your work.
It's not hard to throw six figures at a 65 Corvette. Here's what I'm wondering. A charity build. 65 Corvette would make a most excellent charity build. So,
Well, it depends on the charity.
well, that's true. All right? And I got to tell you, my heart is in helping two people more than anything else. Not the guys that want free cars built. They don't really do a lot to stir my emotions. But battered women and children who are the victims of really unspeakable things. I got to tell you, it's hard to sleep knowing that horrid things are happening in this country. So if you could get what you paid for the car in '85 and we could get a vehicle and do a charity build, would that be a win to you?
For the kind of charity you're talking about, absolutely.
You got a deal.
Deal. Thanks, Dan.
Absolutely.
I have a few ideas where this car can go, and I'm excited about free reign on a 65 Corvette.
Pretty much no options except the supplemental hardtop. But we're going to change all of that.
I think Dan's idea is fantastic. I'd love to help battered women, battered children. I'd also like to help disabled veterans. I'm a retired Navy guy, so that would be great. But any charity that's truly worthwhile, I'm okay with.
Folks, we're going to be releasing webisodes every week on Wednesdays on this build. Make sure you do all those things. The like, subscribe, comment, and share. It really does help. Look, I get people every week, sometimes 10 a week, asking me to build them a cool car for free. We can't do that, but I am interested in doing one thing very passionately, and that is ending the abuse of women and child sex trafficking. The fact that we even have to talk about it, to me, is reprehensible. So if there's any way we can take what we do very well at, which is turning passions into artwork in the form of a car, and use that to help do anything we can to end child sex trafficking. If God has ever put me on a mission, I think that that's what it is. We're going to donate this car for a charity fundraiser that does those things. So what I need you to do is in the comments, tell me what charity you would like to nominate for that. We're open. We want to do this. We want to build this. The guys are very excited here. So stay tuned to our channel and see where this 65 Corvette goes, and maybe you can be a big part of seeing exactly where it ends up.